Welcome to the August 10th, 2026 Board of Mayor and Alderman regular meeting. Before we get started, just a little housekeeping. Please sign in before the meeting starts. Public comments will be held to 2 minutes. Public comments will not be a question and answer with the board. It is reserved to that public commentary. During board discussion, I would ask that a board member refrain from speaking until recognized by the mayor to maintain order. Board members will speak one at a time and will not be able to speak to that subject again until all members have been given an opportunity. I would ask the audience to please be respectful and not speak out during the meeting to allow that the business of the city be done orderly and efficiently. If anybody wants to make comments, they still have time to sign in.
Someone's coming in. Mr. Lowry's going.
Oh, yeah. Great.
We need to do a board too.
Wow. Yeah. We'll begin with the beer board. I need a roll call, please.
Mayor Dagan,
Here.
Ms. Huffman,
Here.
Mr. Bell,
Here.
Mr. Ford, Mr. Perales,
Here.
Mr. McGee,
Here.
Mr. Lowry,
Here.
Mr. Smith.
It's off-premise beer permit. Same Wani, sir. Doing business as Lucy General Store at 6636 US Highway 51 North, Millington, Tennessee 38053. Mr. Lawson?
Yes, this is a beer violation for off-premise permit, 6636 Highway 51, Lucy General Store. The permit holder, Mr. Mawani, is here. I've spoken with him. For the record, the Shelby County Sheriff's Department did a undercover sting operation on June 10th of this year, and a sale for a beer did occur to an undercover operant under the age of 21. The clerk did not check the ID. Mr. Mawani has taken measures since then. This is a first violation in accordance with our policy. I did misspeak earlier. I believe it was $1,000. It was actually $1,500 is a violation for the first. Mr. Mawani, we spoke earlier. You do admit on the record that the sale did occur.
Yes.
Okay. And you've taken what measures since then?
We have made a store policy that we have to scan everyone's driver license when they come to buy any kind of beer at the register. So the cashier has to scan their driver license and not just enter the date of birth. So that way, we are taking an extra measure to scan the driver license.
Okay. All right. Staff recommends, since this is the first violation, we stick with the policy and issue just a fine in lieu of suspension for $1,500. Staff recommendation. If you have any questions for Mr. Malani or myself.
Any questions, board? We have a recommendation of a fine. I need a motion in a second. Motion. Motion, Mr. Lowry, the second. Ms. Huffman, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. I make a motion to adjourn the beer board.
Motion.
I need a motion and a second. Who was the motion? Mr. McGee, and the second, Mr. Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Mawani.
Thank you. If you'll get with Clerk Finley within the next few days, we'll have 7 days.
Thank you.
Is Bishop Christopher here? Is Bishop Christopher in Florida now? Who's not? I see a couple of pastors out there. There he is. Dr. Usman, you are the man. Would you come and pray for our city? Dr. Usman will pray for our city, and it'll be followed with the pledge of allegiance.
I'm not sure I'm the man there. Okay? But I am clergy, so let us pray. So often in the crazy and busy world that is ours, we overlook the things that are immediately about us. Persons in need, persons without hope, persons who are misdirected, persons who are lost. May it become our responsibility as citizens to pause and respond to those persons. And through the actions of those who lead us in our city and our city's employees, may they become encouragers to we who are the citizens of this city to make our city a better place to live. I pray too this night for all those who lead us, the mayor, the board of aldermen, the department heads, and all employees and volunteers of our city. May the instruments that are theirs, the talents and the gifts that they behold, all be put to work for making our place, our city, a better one. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Dagan,
Here.
Ms. Huffman,
Here.
Mr. Bell, Mr. Ford, Mr. Perales,
Here.
Mr. McGee, Mr. Lowry,
Here.
Mr. Smith.
I need a motion in a second for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes of July 20th, 2026.
Motion.
I
Second.
have a motion, Mr. Smith, second, Mr. McGee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes do have it. City Beautiful Commission Yards of the Month.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, Alderman. Good evening, City of Millington. We have a lot of citizens out this evening. Give yourselves a hand. It's a big turnout. I am Lanita Johnson. I am the chair of the Yard of Month, coordinator, I'll say, of the Yard of Month, and we are going to announce our winners for the month of August. This is Ann Turner.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Aldermen, all of our guests this evening. We are so excited again about our Yard of the Month selection. We have 2 yards that we want to recognize. Miss Lynn, would you please come forward? And is Miss Teresa Sales here? We have a certificate for you, and I'm gonna read it. The Millington City Beautiful Commission Yard of the Month. This certificate is proudly presented to Ms. Lynn for your dedication, hard work, and pride in maintaining such a beautiful and welcoming property. This award acknowledges the time and effort you have invested in enhancing the appearance of your home and contributing to the beauty of the city of Millington. Awarded on August 10th, 2026, signed by our chair, Ms. Marie Thomas, and by our mayor, Larry Beckett. Thank you.
Cheers your heart. Cheers your heart, buddy.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
We also would like to say that for the month of September, we will be turning it over to the neighbors and residents of the city of Millington. You are welcome to submit your yard your neighbor's yard, just make sure you should submit it by August the 17th. August 17th. You can go on our Facebook page, that's the City Beautiful Facebook page, and submit your yard of the month. And we look forward to receiving all these beautiful yards that we know we're going to get. Thank you so much for continuing to keep Millington beautiful.
All right. And now we'll open public comments. First, we have Chris Everett.
The name and address. The name and address. No, speak into
Sorry,
the
Chris, can I
microphone.
make just a real quick statement? Speakers must state their name, home address, organization he or she represents, if any, and subject of the presentation before they are permitted to proceed. Speakers may offer objective comments about city operations and programs that concern them. Speakers are asked to refrain from using names of personnel or names of person or persons connected with the city, particularly when lodging a complaint. Speakers will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. The mayor shall have the authority to terminate the remarks of any individual who is disruptive or does not adhere to the board rules. The board will take all public comments under advisement, but the board will not respond during public comments. All right, Mr. Everett.
So Chris Everett, 4903 Hallbrook Drive, and I'm just here to announce my position as running for Alderman. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Chris Everett, and I'm running for Alderman position 4, and my commitment to Millington is simple. We want to work hard, listen to our residents, and spend taxpayer dollars with responsibility. Support public safety, improve our infrastructure, and help make Millington a city where families and businesses can thrive. I don't have all the answers, but I promise I'll always be available, honest, and willing to listen and work with others to find a solution. Most importantly, I want to help strengthen communication between the people of Millington and our city board. I believe our residents deserve to be heard, informed, and represented. I'm ready to work hard for this community, and I would be honored to serve you. Your voice, your community, your Alderman, Chris Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Everett. Christina Andrew.
Hi, my name is Christina Andrew. I live at 9705 Dotson Road here in Millington. And my complaint is about the Millington Police Department. On 5/21/24, I was assaulted, and an officer came out and took my report, and was not very honest on that report. Then another officer came out the next day, which is a detective, and took my written statement. And I couldn't figure out why I lost my job. I was told that I was a liar. And come to find out when I got the police report back that the first officer lied. It didn't match what I had said. The detective lied as well, and went off of what the first officer said. He didn't even look at any of my written statement, which I had brought the police report and the written statement here for reference to show proof. I turned it in. Eventually, the person altered the report to fix what was said, which was a lie. I was told that I was correct with the body cams and with my statement, and the person apologized and said, well, I've just been busy with a murder. And so I just believed the other officer. I have a complaint with the fact of being strangled and almost choked to death, and it was put as a simple assault. Sir, I would like for you to look at my neck, at the scar that I have to live with looking at every single day, every day. That person caused it to where I had to have fusions in my neck and ruptured the discs in my neck. I lost my job because of your officer. And because of the false reporting,
That's your comment.
You could give it to one of the. Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Hank Hawkins.
That's bad.
Who's got the time?
Give me 1 second.
Oh, well, before you start, I want to say I appreciate y'all letting me come. It's been a long time since I spoke in this chamber, probably about 10 years. That's all the time in. All right. My name is Hank
Hold on, hold
Hawkins,
on.
I'm the 4864 Cassell. I'm here as a citizen of this community, been here all my life. I'm gonna be quick, I know I've got only 2 minutes. I'm here to address the half-cent sales tax issue and its history at Millington schools. The schools were formed because the citizens of this city voted to support a referendum to establish the schools. The citizens believe local schools equal better schools. At the same time, the citizens also voted to support an additional half-cent sales tax through a referendum. Yes, we voted to tax ourselves. The two questions regarding schools and half-cent sales tax were married together on the ballot. This vote occurred in July of 2013. The half-cent sales tax went into effect in September of 2013, and Millington schools opened in the fall of 2014. Go Trojans. Since these two referendums were voted in, the city has collected millions of dollars thanks to that half-cent sales tax. Just in 2025 alone, the half-cent sales tax brought in $2.4 million. Without the schools, this money would not be there, wouldn't exist. This sales tax was initially set aside in a restricted fund for school use. It helped get schools started and was used to pay for feasibility studies, legal fees that occurred during the formation of Millington schools. The tax was crucial to ensuring Millington residents didn't incur higher property taxes to pay for schools, and it made it possible for the city to keep operating without having to dip and use city funds. In layman's terms, the schools did not cost the city any extra money. In early spring 2015, this board, which I was a member of, voted to dissolve the restricted school fund and place that half-cent sales revenue into the city's general fund. They also voted to set the city's contribution to the schools at $500,000 annually. This change took place after lengthy debate and many citizens speaking against it. $500,000 bought a lot more in 2015 than it does in 2016. And no, Walmart didn't shut down. Many citizens still believe that half-cent sales tax, should go to the schools. However, out of the city's budget today, only 2% is allocated to the schools, which is not even close to what the half-cent sales tax brings in. It's time to live up to our mantra of one Millington. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold. Bobby Purser.
I can't get rid of this. And I don't get rid of it. Try, that's what I do note to put one. But it's not loud enough.
This is Bobby Purser, I live at 7301 Baker Street. I just want to comment on some things that have been going on. Nothing specifically, I guess. First thing I want to comment on is it's a sad day for Millington that Washington politics has come to Millington. I served on this board for 8 years. And if we had a problem, we talked it out. It didn't come in Facebook, and we didn't call each other weaponizing a department against another individual. That's a sad state of affairs when Washington politics comes to Millington. We are a community. We should be able to talk to each other and work things out. Don Lowry and I ran for an open position a long time ago. We're not going to age ourselves. Don came to my business. I signed his petition. He signed my petition. We shook hands. We promised. We talked about what we want to see in Millington and not about each other. This last election was all about Washington politics. We see it's raised its head a little bit here lately. As far as what's going on with small businessman, I think it should be an easier way to get a small businessman to open a business. My wife and I bought a building 35 years ago or so. At that time, this code enforcement was Bud Costello and Danny Turk was fire marshal. They came and inspected the building, told my contractor what he had to do. He drew up plans, turned them into Bud. We went forward. We got to do the building. That building had been closed for 7 or 8 years when we bought it. So there's gotta be something simpler to make it easier for small business. I know we're very welcome to big business. We want them to come. Those people got deep pockets. But when it comes to our small business, we just need to figure out a way to make it easier for them. School mentor is one Millington. Here lately in the last 4 or 5 years, between the bickering going on between the school board and board of aldermen and citizens, I don't think one Millington, we need to figure out a way to become one Millington again.
Thank you, Mr. Person. Annette Brooks.
Hello, my name is Annette Brooks. I'm here to represent Thornhill Estates. Address is 4177 Dawson Ridge Drive. Our concerns in the neighborhood is about the grass cutting along Big Creek Church Road and Highway 51. The grass has grown up where it impedes being able to see the traffic headed north on Highway 51. Another concern that we have, safety concern we have, is that Crenshaw and Buckner Road, the speed limit is 45. We're requesting that the speed limit decrease to 30. Those were our concerns that we present to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. John Gray.
My name is John Gray, 3801 Shane Road, Millington. This speech is about city planning. The fact that the city has downplayed the situation with Mr. Darby and condoned it makes it clear that some serious changes need to happen. This is not the first incident of inappropriate conduct involving that man. My personal opinion is that he is a power tripping hothead. The way he just storms in and just, you don't comply, you're in trouble. Treat you like a criminal. I personally informed 5 city employees of my encounter with him, trespassing on my property, flashing a badge, accusing me of operating illegally, and threatening to shut my business down, and then backtracks and says Shelby County is going to shut my business down. All because of a COO piece of paper. I didn't even know what that was. So I said to him and Ms. Webb that I would submit the correct applications right away and do whatever the city required of me. She said, don't bother, we'll make sure it gets denied. You can go before the board and ask for a vote, but they're not going to vote against us. The Shelby County building inspector told me to keep working, keep operating as usual, that he understands what's going on over here. Turns out it's a pretty common mistake for a small business owner to be unaware of the COO requirement. Happens all the time. City and county leaders are supposed to educate the public, help them find a path forward. I'm thankful that Shelby County was able to step in and help guide me through the process that you guys came up with. There's more to my story, but I'm limited on time. I'll be back again, speaking my truth 2 minutes at a time. But let us not forget, public servant means recognizing that your salaries are funded by the taxpayers.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
And that your success is measured on how well you provide.
Teresa Phelps.
Teresa Phelps, 4815 Jack Huffman Boulevard. We are Measured Fabrication, and we are open for business. Do you know the difference between people who destroy and people who build? People who destroy conduct window surveys and tell you that a building is blighted, that it needs to be demolished and sold to a developer. People who destroy deceive you, tell you that you're being sued to cut off communication and attempt to strangle any truth that can come to light. They take packets of information from right under your noses and try to control what you see. People who destroy even when given opportunity after opportunity to do the right thing, continue down their destructive path. They have no regard for policies, guidelines, accountability, responsibility. They believe these things don't pertain to them. But thankfully, we also have people who build. People who build see a blighted building and are obedient and faithful to do what it takes to get it. You see, this building that we have was dedicated to God long before we started the purchasing process. And that is why all attempts made by Mr. Dakin, Mr. Darby, and Mr. Lawson to stop it was fruitless. People who build create community and partner with Millington High School CTE welding program and pour into our children. People who build provide opportunities for educating, equipping, and empowering individuals and families to address mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical wellness and support them in taking steps towards healing. People who build create opportunities for local businesses to grow and flourish by providing a space for weekly meetings for approximately 25 businesses and extend an invitation to the community. People who build one-of-a-kind projects like the Overton Park Shell and Wheels, the Bartlett Mobile Stage, and the Confidential Care Bus to mobile clinic conversion. And people who build help others who want to build. Through prayer, obedience, and persistence, we allow God to lead the way. So, from experience, follow Him, don't try to lead Him, and definitely get out of His way. We are Measured Fabrication, we build, and we are open for business.
Dodie Childress.
Children 6664 Willow Hook Street in Millington, Tennessee. And I'm speaking on your animal control ordinance, 25-15, Title 10, I think is number 13 on your docket tonight. I was asked to speak on this. I think more so in favor of what's coming. So I've come up with something. It's called a safe alternative for abandoning pets. And what I'd like to see the town implement is a safe pet surrender, a program for residents who find themselves unable to take care of their pets for whatever reason or the other. As example, this morning, a young Labrador retriever was hit on Highway 51. Several people rescued the animal and took it to the animal hospital. Animal hospital called the owner. I'm assuming the pet was Chip. The owner didn't have the money to take care of the vet bill and knew the pet was out running around and surrendered the pet. And now other people are gonna pay the bill and the pet got hit for no reason. So, you know, sometimes the circumstances change. The families experience financial hardship, health problems, they move, they simply realize they no longer can provide care for an animal. So what I would propose, instead of people just dropping their dogs off in Shelby Forest or in Billington or in Tipton County or anything like that, we all see it every day. We should be able to surrender the animal without questions being asked. I know in Memphis, if you have a baby and you don't want it, you can take it to a fire station, no questions asked. I mean, that sounds weird and stupid, but people do it and they have that avenue to do it. So what I'm saying is, whoa. Okay. Long story short, sometimes good government is simply finding a better solution to a problem that already exists. It doesn't help the citizens.
Thank you.
On to Odell.
Good evening, Rhonda Odell, 6640 Old Tipton Road, Millington 38053. Mayor Dagan, Alderman, employees, citizens of Millington, I am honored and humbled to be your next county commissioner. I came up here to express my thanks for all of the support, and whether you voted for me or not, I'm here to serve you as your county commissioner. I also want to let the public know that a lot of times your county commissioner cannot be here at these meetings because we have our county commission meetings the same day and time. So if you don't see me here, it doesn't mean I don't care. but I have another job I gotta do. So thank you all and have a good evening.
Susan Hatfield.
Hi, I'm Susan Hatfield, 1902 Tompkins Lane, Millington, Tennessee, 38053. I just want to bring it up that we have 7 aldermen on Millington's alderman board. Collierville has 5, Germantown has 5. I live in Shelby Forest, and there is no representation for me whatsoever. I have a suggestion that we take 1 alderman for Shelby Forest and hit them toward the east, and 1 alderman for Rosemark. But everything that y'all do, we are affected by. We need representation that's targeted for us. And I think that would be a good suggestion. I know everyone wants the best for everybody, but I also think that if you're more designated, you would be more cognizant and aware more of our needs and address the needs more better. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hatfield. Rebecca Griffin.
Name's Rebecca Griffin at 6391 Chase Road in Millington. Good evening, Board of Aldermen and Mayor. My son-in-law has been trying to open a business at an existing location at 7713 Highway 51. No structural changes or plans, no modifications at all to the footprint. He simply wants to operate in a space previously used for this exact same purpose. The building was built to be a garage. This has become personal to my family, and it raises a broader question about consistency in how our city treats local businesses. Furthermore, Tennessee state law under TCA Code 13-7-208 protects commercial uses by allowing up to 30 consecutive months of discontinued use before grandfather rights expire. Because this previous use should fall within that state protected window, we would have hoped to have gotten an expected clear path forward. That TCA code, if you need to write it down, is 13-7-208, but it hasn't been a clear path. I support code enforcement, but I want to understand why and what is required of us, and why, and if it's not applied equally. We truly never received clear documentation outlining a step-by-step process, even in the denial letter. Yes, it was incomplete. However, I also consulted with Shelby County Code Enforcement. They advised me that stamp plans are typically not required when there is no construction or changes. So where did these, and why do all these local rules come from? Because if you Google anything, it shows Millington is very strict on their policies. Through my research on develop901.com that houses all of the certificate of occupancies and plan, there's 4 businesses not.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Okay.
I am Lindsay Biner. My address is 3866 Shane Road. I'm following back on her. There are at least 4 businesses right now that don't have a COO or turned in stamp plans. For me, 63 days ago on June 8th, I stood here asking for accountability. I truly believe that if the facts and evidence were put in front of the right people, someone would have stepped up and done what was right. Yet it took 8 weeks, a Facebook post, and citizens becoming vocal for the city to publicly address this situation and to issue what they considered appropriate punishment. This raises more questions and concerns for me. What was the reason behind him making a false memo against my husband? Why was my stepdad dragged into his false narrative? These are 2 highly respected men in this community, and if we didn't have video footage, this statement could have permanently damaged their character and their reputation. Additional classes and disciplinary action, but at what point does keeping an employee become a liability? At this point, I have to ask, why does the peer of the city is willing to do everything except let this employee go? Classes can teach you policy and procedures, but they can't teach you honesty. That comes within. I also want something else documented publicly. For the last 6 years, I've lived on a dead-end, no-outlet street, and since I've come public about this, I've noticed a significant increase in police officers and other city vehicles driving by my house. I'm not going to speculate as to why I think it's happening, but I want the pattern and my concern about it entered into public record, and it can be noted that I have very detailed security cameras with dates and timestamps. Thank you.
Thank you. Phyllis Bynum?
Hi, I'm Phyllis Bynum, the 7151 Pam. I am Brian Bynum's grandmother. I have raised him. He has lived with me most of his life, so we're very close. I just want to say from a grandparent to all of y'all, I wish nothing like this ever happens to y'all. What has happened to my grandson, him trying to start a business, his dream. He has lived in Millington all his life, and his dream was to open his own shop, and it has been nothing but chaos. And I am so sorry that this has had to happen, and I wouldn't wish this on none of y'all, no one. This is sad. That's all I have to say.
Susan Bynum? I'm sorry,
Susan Bynum, 7151 Pound Drive. I'm a lifelong citizen of Millington. I'm also the sister of Brian Bynum. Like our dad, Brian chose to build a career as an honest, reputable mechanic and hopes to carry on our father's legacy and opening his own business here in the city he calls home. He invested his time, money, and effort because he believed Millington was a place that small businesses could succeed. Instead, he found himself defending his character. I want everyone here to consider one question. What would have happened to Brian had he had no surveillance cameras? Without that video, Brian would have faced criminal accusations based solely on someone else's version of events. His reputation, freedom, and future would have been permanently damaged. That should concern every single citizen in this community and not just my family. The cameras did not just protect Brian, they protected the truth. The city didn't address this matter until it all came out to the community. Even then, the city statement focused on explaining procedures rather than addressing accountability. How will the city rebuild public trust? That remains unanswered. Accountability is not about assigning blame for the sake of blame. Accountability means acknowledging when something went wrong, learning from it, and making changes so it doesn't happen again. Our family believes in Millington. That's why Brian chose to invest here. We want the city to succeed, but transparency, fairness, and accountability are not optional. They're essential to earn the public's trust. So tonight I'm asking the mayor and the board to do more than just move on from this situation or give a simple slap on the wrist as you all have already done. This is bigger than one automotive shop. It's about whether every citizen can trust that the truth will matter and that when mistakes happen, this city will have the courage to acknowledge them and make them right. Thank you for your time.
Jeff Phelps?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Phelps, 4815 Jack Huffman Boulevard. I'm Measure Fabrication. Hey, I started here and started to buy a building August 8th, 2024 with the amazing Mr. Ed Haley. I gave him money down to put on the building. We went under contract and everything's great. I talked to Frankie Dakin a few times, or Franklin, or whatever you want to be called. I talked to him a few times about it and I said, hey man, I can't wait to get started. He knew everything. And then all of a sudden, they come up and they say, hey, your contract's thrown out. They're selling the property as surplus property. I'm like, how's that happen? So I called the amazing Gerald Lawson. He said, hey bro, your contract's now worth the paper it's written on. And I'm like, how can you throw out a contract? Aren't you a lawyer or are you a judge? Hey, that's what happened. It's thrown out. Next thing you know, they want me to bid on the property. But Frankie took his little marker and marked off the front of it, took up the thing, so now I'm bidding on two entrances to come in my property that I'm bidding on. Luckily, after they found out that I was actually gonna keep going to buy the property, next thing you know, the amazing Gerald Lawson tells everybody on the board of aldermen that I am suing the city. To this day, you have not been sued by me. But that's what he said, so it kept all you guys off from talking to me. It's ridiculous because it violates my First Amendment right to talk to my elected officials. And that's what you guys do. That's what they do when they don't get what they want. That's what they do. They come up with this crap and tell everybody what's happening and what's not happening. But the Board of Aldermen, thank God, thank you, Jesus, they voted for us, and we got the building. But that started 9 months of crap, of delay after delay after delay after delay after delay. Asking me to do stuff that I shouldn't have to do just because Title 14 says that we shouldn't have to. Just because Tennessee Code Annotated says I shouldn't have to. But yet, I talked to the mayor, and I'm like, he's got common sense. You know what he tells me? Comply, comply, comply. That's not how it works. We're American. I got 30 years of service to this United States of America. As a service member, I'll sit up.
Brian Bynum?
My name is Brian Bynum. I live at 3866 Shane Road, and I want to go over ethics. So, I have never done anything to give the director or another city official reason to portray me as a threat. I provided the city video footage that doesn't support the director's statement he gave to police. The officer dispatched that day described the director as the aggressor, which ironic is during our meeting with council, the director got up, slammed his hands on the table, and walked out the door. That's pretty similar to the behavior he accused me of. I want every member of this board to ask themselves something. Would this punishment be acceptable if it happened to you? What if it happened to your spouse or your child? I also have other serious concerns. Why is the city attorney who sat in a scheduled meeting and could not provide me with the specific code I was asking for now involved in reviewing my site plan application while he reviewed it with the director? He was present and involved in this situation. So how am I supposed to have confidence that the process is completely independent and unbiased when I've been lied on? I shouldn't have to keep asking for fairness and accountability. All of this could have been prevented. Thank y'all.
Dyson Urban.
Hi, my name is Dalton Urban, 3682 Lucy Road. I'm gonna touch up on Brian there. Good evening. I work for a large-scale company, and one thing I've learned is that the strength of any organization starts with its leadership. Good leadership is not measured by how you respond when everything is going well. It's measured by how you respond when something is uncomfortable brought to your attention. At this point, this is bigger than the man trying to open a business. Situation has caused citizens to question the credibility of our city government and the leadership we are supposed to trust. Citizens deserve more than an explanation designed to make a problem go away. They deserve leadership willing to look for facts, ask difficult questions, and take appropriate action. Allowing a problem to sit for 8 weeks and only publicly addressing it after a Facebook post does not build public trust at all. The trust is built through transparency, accountability, and actions. The citizens of Millington, we deserve more. Thank you.
Wanda Marcello.
Wanda Marcello, 2026, Dr. Fauci, Fifth Amendment I take to give you anything else. Which, by the way, these public meetings, you have a First Amendment right when you're publicly speaking to call out whoever it is, as long as you're not threatening them or whatever. It's the law. Constitutional. Every one of y'all, every month, for 24 months, watch me tell you that he, the same man who plays games with everybody, stole my building. He helped, and the other guy, especially up at the courthouse. So, here we go, y'all. It's a tax sale buyer.
And
Bye-bye.
city has it all.
Yes.
Say law first.
Hey, the city, y'all had no legal right to be up there. It was supposed to be a reset. They played me. I was thinking they were helping me. Every month, I went up to them and asked for help. And they denied it. They refused to give me my personal items, which I have a ton more recordings. I don't come here to get for y'all to care. I come here for these people to see the truth. Because mine's going to be in a court of law. And I see a lot of people will follow besides the ones I have. Y'all all broke your oath of office by law. Y'all have to report. No, by law, y'all don't. Time is up.
Joseph Marcello.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Joseph Marcello, 5112 Beasley Street. I've come to this Board of Alderman meeting since January of 2025 asking for my father's personal belongings from the Herald Building. Haven't heard nothing from that. Well, I would like to know why is my mother and my father's stuff not back in our possession from our building? We were promised that we could go get it. Didn't hear nothing from anybody. And I'm very disappointed about that still. And it's still a year and a half later, I'm still asking for it. And I shouldn't have to, and this is ridiculous, and the way that you're treating people around here is ridiculous. Thank you, God bless.
Thank you. Derek Jones.
I'll be brief. It's just more of a question to provoke thought with some of the things that I've recognized on the agenda. With the city considering these changes to the sign ordinance and the sidewalk repair assistance program, how is the city planning to integrate code enforcement, property owner education, proactive inspection so that these programs address violations before they become larger and more costly problems? So that's just something I wanted to throw out just to kind of provoke thought around these things that are going to be done. Because from what I'm hearing, it sounds like everyone wants to be heard. They want to be included, educated on the things that are going on. And I just think that we could take some more proactive steps to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We need a motion and a second to close public comments.
So.
Motion, Mr. McGee, a second. Ms. Morales, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. City manager report and the update on Big Creek Park.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board, and members of our community. I know I'm not supposed to respond to public comment, but I would say it's just good to see so many members of our community in this room. And I know many of us were elected after spending a lot of time in this room. So it's good to see members of our community in this room, even if it is, as I said, my fault. So as I approach 2 years to serving as your city manager, I thought tonight may be a good opportunity to take a few minutes and report back on the work you asked me to do and we've done together. When I came into this position, the board gave me 3 pretty straightforward priorities: a fully staffed and resourced public safety department, particularly our police department, clean up our city, and create more opportunities for kids and families. Those priorities have guided our work for 2 years, and while there is plenty left to do, I think you'll find significant progress has been made on all three, thanks in large part to your leadership. So I'll go through each item, and I ask if you can hold your questions and comments to the end. The first slide is up, and so this priority was pretty straightforward. Fully staff and fully resource our police department. The numbers on the screen now and in front of you, you should have paper copies as well, tell a pretty remarkable story in turnaround. In August of 2012, we had 32 full-time officer positions budgeted, and only 21 of them were filled. Today, we have 38 budgeted, and 32 are filled. That's more than a 50% increase in the number of full-time officers serving our community in just 2 years. That does not take into account the part-time officers we've added, something Millington did not have at all in 2024. Those 3 additional officers are giving us much needed capacity for traffic and retail theft enforcement. So if it feels like you're seeing more blue lights around Millington, it's because you certainly are. You're seeing more traffic enforcement, you're seeing more officers in neighborhoods, and you're seeing the results of deliberate investment this board has made in public safety over many years. We still have 4 full-time vacancies, and so we're gonna keep on recruiting, but we're in a fundamentally different position than we were just 2 years ago. We've grown the authorized full-time force by nearly 20% in the budget, while increasing the number of positions filled by more than 50%. We've made major investments in compensation, equipment, vehicles. We've expanded traffic enforcement in our school resource officer program. We've created a retail theft unit that added specialized capacity throughout the department. And we've asked more of our police department. We put the people and resources behind those expectations. We're doing the same thing with fire. We're transitioning Millington from basic life support to advanced life support, significantly improving the emergency medical care available to our residents. Our fire department recently had 2 rare vacancies, and we had over 40 qualified applicants for those 2 positions. 1 position was filled by a very qualified fire medic, which will help in our transition to advanced life care services. We're also moving forward with building Fire Station 3. We've completed a land acquisition at a reasonable cost and in a way that gives us room for future growth and an opportunity to return a park asset to an area of community that lost one several years ago. 2 years ago, we were trying to fill holes in our public safety operation every day. Today, we're building a public safety operation that a growing Millington will need for the next 20 years. The second priority was to clean up the city. And this has a lot to do with code enforcement. Of the 3, surprise, this one's probably been the most difficult. But the results are visible. And you can go to the next slides. Okay, you can still see those. That's perfect. You can drive Highway 51 and see properties that look different because long-standing issues have been addressed. You can see it in Old Town. You can see it on Navy Road. We've increased proactive enforcement. We've conducted the first citywide sweeps. We've addressed significant environmental violations, and we've been working through structures and properties that have been problems in this community for many years. This includes bringing the big box stores into compliance. The old flower shop on Navy Road is probably one visible example that our residents have driven by for many, many years. That building is set vacant, deteriorating for years. We now have a judicial order requiring its demolition in the coming months. The potential owner of the Butler buildings at the gateway of the airport, Alderman Lowry talks about this one all the time. That owner has agreed to demolish those structures as well, and if that doesn't happen, we're prepared to move forward ourselves. This is painstaking work, and I've been pretty clear from the beginning that cleaning up this city was going to create some tension. It certainly has, because clean up the city sounds easy until government tells somebody that it's their property that has to come into compliance. It sounds easy until someone wants to open a business in a building that has been vacant for years and learns that the property has to meet requirements that have been long contained in our code. And that is an important distinction I want to draw. We haven't spent the last 2 years piling on new regulations on our residents or businesses. With the exception of a few specific decisions by this board and our planning commission, including restrictions on gas stations, vape stores, and large solar developments, the standards we're enforcing overwhelmingly are standards that were already on the books. What's changed is our willingness to do so consistently. But consistency has to apply to all of us.
If we're going to hold the public to a high standard, those of us who work for the city have to hold ourselves to an even higher. And as city manager, I am ultimately responsible for this operation of this organization. The situation discussed during public comment tonight has certainly tested that. After reviewing the full record, I believe mistakes in judgment were made. We took significant corrective action, which I'd be happy to detail, made changes to the operation, added capacity so difficult situations like this don't rest as heavily on one or two employees. We did those things because maintaining the public trust and building it is paramount. But I also want to be clear about what I concluded after reviewing that evidence. I do not believe our employee intentionally misled anyone, much less law enforcement.
Come on.
I got lied on.
No, I'm leaving because that's just full of shit.
Thank you. If they want to leave, let them leave.
I got somebody, not like.
It's okay. Certainly they're right. Again. Should I continue? Yes. Okay, thank you. That does not mean that everything was handled the way it should have been. Perhaps should have stuck around for that. We are public servants. We are held to a higher standard. Good intentions do not relieve us of the responsibility to exercise good judgment, communicate accurately, de-escalate difficult situations, as we've seen our qualified law enforcement officers do just tonight, and treat people professionally and respectfully. That standard starts with all of us, and it certainly starts with me. At the same time, accountability inside City Hall does not eliminate accountability outside City Hall. A property's requirements don't change because an interaction with a city employee could have been handled a lot better. We have to be capable of acknowledging our mistakes, correcting them, and still enforcing the same standards for everyone. That's what we're gonna keep doing, and we're gonna keep working with the people that wanna invest in this community every day. We're gonna keep addressing properties that have been allowed to deteriorate for years, and we're gonna keep looking for ways to make that process clearer to our residents, faster, and more small business friendly without lowering the standards that have been long established. So those three priorities guide us, but running a city also means recognizing emerging needs. So we've talked about public safety, we've talked about code enforcement and cleaning up the city. Last year, we spent significant time on food insecurity, including supporting the base's first food pantry during the federal shutdown. Today, I believe one of the most pressing needs facing our community is mental health, particularly youth mental health. We now have our city's first employee with a master's in public health on staff, who helped us design a mental health resource guide that's live on social media and our website now for our community. We've held community meetings, brought partners together, listened to families and professionals about our young people are experiencing and where gaps may be. We're bringing the county's largest provider of community-based mental health services onto our school campus to make those resources even more accessible to our community. Mental health, particularly youth mental health, is a national emergency, and we've got to treat it like one in a million, and I think we are. Of course, we can't solve every problem from City Hall, but we can certainly recognize urgent needs, bring the right people together, and use the resources that we do have to act. Finally, more opportunities for kids and families, which will get me to the final point, which is on the agenda, Big Creek Park. We've brought back the farmers market. We've expanded an open gym opportunity and recreational opportunities. We've strengthened partnerships with organizations like the YMCA and Naval Support Activity Mid-South. In our parks, we've adopted a pretty simple philosophy. Every park, every year. Every year, residents should be able to look around Millington and see us making their parks even better. And right now, much of that work is literally under construction. At Baker, construction is already underway on the federally funded tennis courts that will give Trojan Tennis a home court. We're working to have those ready for the team to practice on in February. Renovations began last week at Ed Haley Gym with new maple flooring, which I've heard smells really nice, fresh paint, upgraded goals and net systems, pickleball lines, electrical improvements,
and a new layout that will allow us to run twice as much programming as when it reopens in the fall. At Discovery Park, it begins in about a week on new equipment specifically designed for some of our littlest kids. At ACOC, we piloted soccer goals. That went so well that we just installed permanent ones that will hopefully survive our kids occasionally deciding that they're also jungle gyms. Let's not forget that ACOC is now home to the first dog park in the history of Millington. At Emmett Oval Golf Course, we're investing in irrigated greens there and continuing to improve a tremendous public asset to our north. That's what every park every year needs. But I do want to spend the last few minutes on the project that I believe will become the crown jewel of our park system, and that's Big Creek Park. It's under construction today, right at the corner of 51 and 385, and I know people have had a lot of questions about it. The current construction schedule has the park being handed over to Millington in early 2027. Our parks team is already preparing for that transition, and this year's parks maintenance budget includes additional capacity to help us take on this tremendous new asset. When it's finished, Millington will receive approximately $9 million in recreational amenities. That's on top of the $30 million non-local dollars spent so far on the project to improve our community's resilience to flooding. That infrastructure paid dividends when many places around us flooded last spring, and we did. The $9 million federally funded amenities include 4 lit and irrigated soccer fields, a playground, restrooms, an amphitheater mound for special events, a 9-hole disc golf course, paved trails, and primitive trails. And finally, no more youth soccer having to play on baseball fields in our community. But getting here has not been easy. This is an unusually complicated project because we're building recreational amenities around and across Big Creek as part of a much larger resilience project. And I want to be clear that this is a Shelby County-led project. The city of Millington does not direct it. But that does not mean we've sat on the sidelines when things get difficult. Our team recently became a lot more directly involved. The contractors and county team were at odds and had escalating costs that created nearly millions in potential cost overruns that would have put this project into jeopardy. Our team stepped up. We've been at the table every week with the county, project managers, engineers, and contractors. Our focus has been solving problems, keeping construction moving, and protecting recreational amenities promised to our community. I'm incredibly proud of our team for taking that leadership role. There have been some reductions to get the project back within budget. 9 holes of disc golf and some of the northernmost primitive trails have been removed. But through our team's advocacy, every other major recreational amenity has been preserved. And I'll give you one example of the kind of decisions we've been trying to work through on Big Creek Park. One cost-saving proposal would have lowered the elevation of the trails and the bridges, and so you can see that at the kind of the middle to the right of the soccer fields, where the green line on the other side of Big Creek goes into an L shape. And so that's the area I'm discussing right now. That would have saved money on the project. It would have also meant that floods would have, or the trails would have flooded more frequently, and residents would have had fewer days each year to enjoy this asset. It would have also effectively eliminated an opportunity for Millington to someday create a full pedestrian bridge across Big Creek to the Biloxi Park area. We're not going to lose that opportunity. So the city is prepared to provide up to 3,300 cubic yards of earthwork to maintain the trail at its originally designed elevation. The current estimate is about $117,000, and we're able to do that using existing parks funding without asking this board for additional appropriation. That's a good example of how we've approached this entire project. Earlier this year, the board authorized approximately $85,000 for a temporary bridge because we needed to keep construction moving. Our team worked with project partners, especially TDOT, and found another solution, and we did not have to spend that money. That's the balance we're trying to strike on this project, as we do with many of our projects. Be willing to step up when Millington's long-term interests are at stake while protecting our taxpayers' money whenever we can. So here's where we stand tonight. The project that was facing millions in cost overruns just a couple months ago and significant challenges between the parties is back on track. Nearly every recreational amenity has been preserved. Approximately $9 million in recreational amenities are coming to Millington. Our parks team is preparing now, and Big Creek is on track to open in early 2027. 2 years ago, you gave me 3 priorities. I think you can see progress. Our public safety operation is stronger. We're tackling properties and problems that have lingered for years. We're responding proactively and creatively when new needs emerge. And across this community, we're creating more opportunities for kids and families. Of course, we haven't gotten everything right. And when we don't, we'll own our responsibility and correct what needs to be corrected and get better. But we're not gonna stop doing the work. And when those lights come on those 4 fields in Big Creek and our kids are out playing underneath them, I think you're gonna be pretty proud of what this team has accomplished. Every park, every year, more opportunities for kids and families. That's the work you asked us to do, and we're not finished yet. Thank you so much. I'm happy to entertain any questions or comments.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Comments from the board? Excuse me.
Murder.
Please refrain.
Yeah, that's what I said about the child business, like, right, stop. Okay.
Mr. Stokes, please.
So a business, a light, everything thrown out in a rainstorm, and these people are lying. It's not okay, don't put your hands on me. I'm an old woman, I'm an elderly. You don't have to grab me. You're walking now.
Board, any questions, comments? Anybody have any comment? I have a comment. Yes, Mr. Lowry. Nobody's gonna say anything, I have a comment. First off, it's good to see everybody here tonight. It's not all great on everybody being here. I know you have concerns. I know you're upset about some things. But, it's good to see you. Come every meeting and you will know more about what's going on in your city, rather than just coming on a night when everybody's upset. There's a lot of times we do good things and we're glad to have you here at any time. Here's what I've got to say. I agree with the resolution of the situation involving our military employee and one of our citizens. Took a significant amount of time. However, as a city employee was involved, it takes extra time. Additional time was required to review all sides of the issue. Our city attorney, HR director, and city manager were all involved in the process and in the final decision-making and the administrative actions. While this full board was not in complete agreement with the final decision, that's our prerogative, but we are not administration. That is not our job. The people whose job it was took the action. I stand behind them. I sincerely hope the Bynums are able to open their business soon and will achieve great success there. My family was a small business here in Millington. They still are considered a small business. I'm not in the business anymore. I'm retired. They sent me home. I was too old to do any more work. They sent me home and said, we don't need you anymore, okay? But that's okay. My family's business was told Miss Sips was gonna come into one of our businesses. And they were told, no, you can't until you do certain things to bring the building up to code. It's set vacant for a couple of years, but it's been a barbecue establishment we bought the business in 1978 and it was there before we moved in for many years, before we bought the business. Some improvements need to be done, and until they're done, no one can occupy that building. That said, all business and property owners must comply with the rules and regulations required by city and county codes. Most of those codes are put down on us. It's the Southern Building Code, which is updated every few years by the county. And we either vote it up or vote it down, and we have to vote it up because we've either got to comply or be out of compliance with the county. So it has to be voted on. But, you know, I'm very, very dismayed about what's been going on Facebook and what one of the people said earlier about Washington politics. Calling our board members corrupt, deceitful, dishonest, and the greatest cliche of them all, good old boys. And
And what I thought was kind of funny, but you got other people that are running for offices up here, they're agreeing with them and getting on that Facebook and, oh yeah, you're right, ditto, 100%. Throw them all out, cause I want to get on the board. This board ain't easy. It is a whole lot harder, and do we make mistakes? Yes, we will make mistakes. As long as there's somebody up here, they're gonna make mistakes. Everybody that is in business or in charge is gonna make a mistake. I know everyone that is in charge of a business or whatever has made a mistake before. But calling names to these people on Facebook, I'll tell you, one Millington, a slogan that I think gets thrown in the trash when certain people want to make it and get it thrown in the trash. But I thought this also interesting on Facebook when they said, you must look at God. Think about God, and then go and start talking bad about the people. Talking bad about these people up here, saying they're deceitful and all the things I said, dishonest. My God tells me I have to look in the mirror every day and I have to forgive 7 times 70. The reason we have to forgive 7 times 70 is because you forgive that many times. You done forgot about why you need to forgive. But in conclusion of this whole thing, the way we talk about Millington on Facebook, who would want to move here to this crime-infested, dirty, stinking city? Come on. You've got a great city in which you live. Everybody is working to make it better. The school system, the city, everyone is trying to make it better. And we will make mistakes. We will make mistakes as long as we have to sit up here and make decisions. And our decisions won't all be 100% right, but we do the best we can. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Yes, Mr. Smith?
Echo what Mr. Lowry said. We're all not going to agree, but we're not corrupt and we're not dishonest. I'm going to start my statement by saying this. Thomas Jefferson once said, I'm sure that in estimating a man's value, either private or public life, I'll let him walk out. I'm sure that in estimating a man's value, either in private or public life, a pure integrity is the quality that we take first in the calculation, and that learning and talents are only second to that. I echo this sentiment. Candor and honesty to law enforcement are paramount for all our citizens, particularly city employees and leaders. It's the measure of our integrity. If it becomes reasonably credible that a city employee failed to meet this standard in dealing with our citizens, and/or especially dealing with our law enforcement partners, it diminishes and can ruin public trust and public confidence. If that occurs, the public that we serve deserves a quick, thorough, objective, and transparent investigation, with fair but firm action when necessary. Appropriately, a matter between our city planner and a prospective business owner was referred to the District Attorney General's office. While I understand the specific statutory nuances, the difference between reporting a crime or offense in a report versus documenting an incident in a memo, that caused the DA's office to decline prosecution for false offense report. It is objectively obvious that the city planner's account was plainly untrue and not supported by the facts documented in the video of the encounter. As such, I have lost confidence in City Planner Jared Darby's ability to effectively perform his duties in service to our citizens. Therefore, it is my recommendation to our city manager that he terminate the employment of city manager. It's copy from Ms. Bentley that I want to add.
Thank you.
more comments from the board?
I have something, well, I have a comment, but if Alderman Ford was not able to be present tonight, he's out of town, and before I read mine, I wanted to make sure he had an opportunity. Mr. Lawson, are you gonna read that for the record?
I can. I have a copy for the record, and Alderman Ford is unable to be here for a family event. He asked me to read this into the record. Due to my absence for a family event that's been scheduled since June, please communicate this statement to all who are present at the Board of Alderman meeting on Monday, August 10th, 2026. The integrity of Millington employees is fundamental to maintaining the trust and confidence of the community we serve. When there are credible concerns that a city employee has acted dishonestly or lacked integrity in communicating with police, those concerns should be treated with the utmost seriousness. Police interactions can become government records that may influence criminal investigations, judicial proceedings, administrative decisions, and the public's perception of fairness. Any inaccurate, misleading, or intentionally false information undermines the credibility of both the individual involved and our city, who is responsible for maintaining accurate records. As a fellow neighbor and Millington business owner for 27 years, I have striven to demonstrate honesty and integrity to my employees, customers, and to the city. I would expect the same from all public servants who should serve dutifully to our citizens. As a result of my concerns, I have lost confidence in this employee's ability to perform the duties of the position with honesty and integrity the public expects and deserves. Therefore, I would recommend to City Manager Frankie Dakin terminate the employment of City Planner Jared Darby, as such conduct is incompatible with the ethical standards required of Millington's public servants. Respectfully, Chris Ford, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I see this issue in two parts, the permitting part and the personnel part. For the permitting part, small business is the backbone of our Millington community. I've been a small business owner for 23 years. There is no roadmap for opening a new business between permits, licenses, insurance, leases, and myriad other challenges before you ever serve your first customer. Not to mention the costs associated with each of these steps. This is only made more difficult if the building you want to lease has been vacant for more than 6 months and must be brought up to code. As a city, we must do better in addressing vacant buildings with landlords and tenants alike, using clear language on what is required. Redeveloping the southern portion of Highway 51 and Navy Road is as important as new developments in other parts of our city. If there are issues with Shelby County code enforcement regarding issuing permits and coordination with Millington Planning, we need to clear that up immediately. Applicants don't need to be caught in the middle of that. Responsive customer service, promptly returned phone calls, and clear expectations must be extended to each applicant, whether they are a small business or a shopping center developer. Please know I expect each applicant to be treated with the same respect and courtesy no matter who they are. As for the personnel portion, the city manager is appointed by and serves at the pleasure of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen per Charter Section 5.01. Under City Charter Sections 5.02, 5.05, and 5.06, daily operations, citizen complaints, personnel matters, and discipline are the city manager's responsibility. Aldermen should address personnel only through the city manager to avoid interfering with operations. The situation with Mr. Darby was not handled appropriately. We as elected officials had to request public statements, completed investigations, and discipline. Our role is to set policy and ensure it is followed. Because an investigation was ongoing, I could not comment or respond to citizens, while the city's silence suggested inaction and placed the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in a difficult position. In attorney-client meetings, we may discuss personnel matters and receive information, but we cannot deliberate, vote, or direct how a personnel matter is handled. As a CPA, I take issue with my character, integrity, trustworthiness, and ethics being questioned because of inaction on personnel matters. Since May, the investigation moved too slowly, did not involve human resources promptly, and failed to adequately address the impact of Mr. Darby's actions on public trust. Once video evidence confirmed he was less than truthful with law enforcement, the matter should have been addressed immediately. As city manager, your choice was for progressive discipline. Had you terminated Mr. Garvey, a simple majority vote of this board of mayor and aldermen would have ratified that. He can still be terminated with 5 votes of the board without your recommendation. Our charter, section 4.07, allows for the mayor to call a special session of this board, or at the request of 4 aldermen, a special session can be held. I have a written request for a special session with 1 agenda item, consideration of the termination of Mr. Garvey. I will provide that letter to Mayor Dagan following tonight's meeting. Should 3 other aldermen share my view of this situation, they can make a similar written request to the mayor, and with proper public notice, a special session can be scheduled. This issue has overshadowed all the positive in Millington with our city, our schools, industrial development board, airport authority, dedicated employees, and the work of many citizens. I will not be complicit in actions that don't contribute to upholding the highest standard of public trust. Providing false information to a police officer has no place in public service. Respectfully submitted, Ms. Finley. I'll give you a copy for the record after the meeting. Thank you.
See any more comments?
I'd like to say something.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brown.
I've been here since 1995, and I got transferred here with the Navy, and I love God, I love my family, and I love Millington. But what I've seen over the last 2 election cycles was right, what the gentleman said. You know, it's like Washington politics is taking over. I mean, we're watching CNN and watching. We're not like that, Millington. We're much better than that. And a house divided will never rise. And let's don't be divisive like the rest of the country. Let's show the rest of the country how good we can be. And we have the love and the people that can make that happen. Thank you.
Mr. McGee?
My heart is broken. I am so disappointed that we have disappointed our citizens. I'm also disappointed that we're not able to share all that is involved in the processing of this type of issue. Our hands are tied. Many of you have businesses. Many of you have families where a mistake has been made. You don't call your neighbors and tell them about it. Some of the things that have come out today, not only the issue with the business being open, I think Alderman Huffman spoke to that very honestly. Those things are already in place, but we cannot allow the citizens to be combative with our employees. We have to protect our employees as well as our citizens. If we do what so many have suggested, just off the cuff, who wants to work for a place that takes action on the word of mouth? It had to be investigated. It had to have the process completed before a decision could be made. And once that decision is made, then the action is implemented. But I thank you all for coming out, but I beg you, please allow all sides of an issue to be shared with you, that you can make a true, honest assessment of what the issue really is. And don't have the idea that you're being given the answer before you know the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. Anything else, Alderman? All right, we're moving on. I'm opening public hearing for ordinance 2026-13, amending Title 14, zoning and land use control, Chapter 24, sign ordinance of the Millington Municipal Code.
So moved.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'm sorry, it's public hearing.
Oh, public hearing, I'm sorry, I opened the public, yes. Is there anybody here to speak to this public hearing? Seeing that there's nobody here to speak, I need a motion and a second.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I
Sorry.
have a motion
Second.
and a second, Ms. Huffman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of ordinance 2026-13, amending Title 14 zoning and land use control, Chapter 24 sign ordinance of the Millington Municipal Code. This is the final reading. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
And a motion, Mr. McGee. Second, Mr. Smith. Ms. Finley?
This is a numeric change. We are changing, currently the ordinance says 30 signs can't be placed out 30 days before the first day of early voting. It is actually 60 days. This brings us into compliance with the state law. We actually have been following it. We're just changing the code to reflect current practice.
Any questions about it?
No, we're already doing it right, it's just the state does too, so there's.
That's what I was gonna say, for those in the audience, running for office, this is just changing what has already been in place for the last election, so signs can go out 60 days prior to the beginning of early voting, so.
Any questions on it? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell,
Aye.
Mr. Perales,
Aye.
Mr. McGee,
Aye.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, Ms. Huffman.
Aye.
Ordinance 2026-14, amending the Millington Municipal Code, Title 16, Streets and Sidewalks, Chapter 3, Sidewalk Repair, to add a sidewalk repair assistance program. Is there anyone to speak? I need a motion and a second to close public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
I've got a motion, second, a second. Did you want to speak?
No, said motion for a second,
All right,
where it was in the line.
All right, very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes do have it. Next is consideration of ordinance 2026-14, amending the Millington Municipal Code, Title 16, Streets and Sidewalks, Chapter 3, Sidewalk Repairs, to add a sidewalk repair assistance program. This is the final reading. Need a motion and a second. Motion, Ms. Huffman, and a second, Mr. Perales. Ms. Finley, please.
Okay, it said this ordinance establishes a sidewalk repair assistance program for eligible owner-occupied homeowners. To qualify, the property must be the applicant's primary resident for at least 3 years, and income eligibility will mirror the qualifications used by the state of Tennessee, Shelby County, and the city's property tax relief programs. The city may increase the income threshold by up to 50%. Homeowners who completed qualifying sidewalk repairs on or before August 1st, 2024 may also apply for reimbursement. This program will begin no earlier than 2027.
Any questions on the board?
I just
Yes.
wanted to offer a word of thanks to Teresa Cook, who serves on our school board, but is also a realtor, and found this of great interest that affects her daily life, and was kind enough to send in some comments and suggestions that did get incorporated as part of this before the second reading. So thank you for that, Ms. Cook.
I was about to say, I think a few of them made their way in there, didn't they?
Just keep this going.
Anything
Thank you
else?
for that.
All right, great. I need a motion and a second.
We already did that.
Oh, we just,
Roll call. Roll call.
we are now going to vote. I need a roll call, please.
Mr. Perales,
Aye.
Mr. McGee,
Aye.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, Ms. Huffman,
Aye.
Mr. Bell.
Aye. Consideration of ordinance 2026-15, repealing Title 10, Animal Control of the Millington Municipal Code, and adopting a revised Title 10. First reading. Need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Have a motion, Mr.
Second.
McGee, a second, Mr. Lowry. Ms. Finley?
Hey, so this is a complete overhaul of our current title pen. The previous one hadn't been updated since the early 80s. So we've gone in and modernized it, updated some of the definitions, streamlined the process a little bit. We have added a section in regarding minimum standards of animal care and requirements for dogs and cats over 6 months of age be spayed or neutered and microchipped, with exceptions for medical reasons, licensed breeders, and animals kept in the city for fewer than 90 days.
Now,
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions?
Questions?
Clarence?
I'll go first, if that's okay. Knock yourself out. This is the first reading, I'm gonna vote for the first reading, but I do have some questions about what we've got going here. And I've heard some questions about, can we legally do this? Couple of parts of it, those parts may need to be looked at and weeded out. But this is basically a good ordinance, but there are some things that I have some questions about. So,
Just,
there you go, sir.
Mr. Smith?
You're correct.
and I guess I'm gonna direct my questions to Mr. Lawson, but just so the public's aware, and I know it hasn't been a law school in about 1,000 years, but how can we require someone to chip their pet and spay and neuter them? I understand when you pick your pet up from like Memphis Animal Shelter, to be able to receive that pet, you have to agree to that, right? But
That's
if,
correct.
But if
That's
the animal
state law.
is born on your property, it's your, I'm not saying it's not a good idea, my pets are spayed and neutered, great idea. But like legally, can we force that? Like it's, and my analogous would be, it's not good for my daughter to eat Wendy's every night, but the city government can't tell me that I can't.
It was a little bit different, and so there is a separate law, it's the Tennessee spay and neuter law. And you're correct, that applies to shelters and adoptions and things like we get rescues and everything. This situation expands that, for basically what the city is allowed to do is a function of what the state allows the city to do. You have what's called enabling legislation, whatever, and that's basically our charter. So our charter does provide for certain generalized things to be regulated about animals within the city limits. It is not specific as to everything that you can do, like requiring a registration, requiring this. So while it is not specifically authorized, it is not prohibited either. So if you have particular questions over certain sections of it, while I do think you can regulate dogs and cats, if there's certain things, I'd be happy to discuss between first and second reading if there's a concern or something we can get into very more specific.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and I make a vote.
Sure. Mr. Bell?
Make a verbal request when we call on the record here.
What?
Can I do
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Can I do it?
Yeah, you're
A verbal request?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Ms. Huffman has outlined the fact that we need to have.
We can do that in writing.
Written,
If
just get it in
the charter
writing.
says it's supposed to be in writing, we can do that.
Yeah.
after the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great, but thank you, Mr. Bell. Anything else on this ordinance? Any questions? No? Roll call, please.
Mr. McGee,
Aye.
Mr. Lowry, Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Huffman,
Aye.
Mr. Bell,
Aye.
Mr. Perales.
Consideration of ordinance 2026-16, amending the FY 27 budget for the city of Millington, Tennessee. The first reading, need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
And a motion, Mr. McGee.
Second.
And second, Mr. Perales. Ms. Finley?
This amendment makes 2 adjustments to our recently passed budget. The first is converting an existing part-time parks position into a full-time golf course maintenance technician at Edmond Orgill Golf Course. Funding is already available within the existing Orgill Park fund budget, so no additional appropriation is required for the personnel change. The Second Amendment formally recognizes the $600,000 community development block grant for the Oak Park tennis courts. We accepted the grant, but it inadvertently got left out of the budget this year, so we are just acknowledging that.
So we got the check for the $600,000?
Not yet, but we've signed the contract.
So,
Just also, at one point, there was additional, I think it's only been verbal so far, but there may be additional funding to
Yes.
cover other costs.
We anticipate additional funding, but if we do get that, we'll just have to do an amendment again to accept that.
Sure. That's fine. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
anything else? Board? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Huffman,
Aye.
Mr. Bell,
Aye.
Mr. Perales, Mr. McGee.
Resolution 35-2026, dismissing uncollectible taxes and authorizing removal of parcels from tax rolls. Motion, second.
Motion.
And a motion, Mr. Smith.
Second.
And second, Mr. Perales.
Smith, good.
Ms. Finley?
We're just clearing some taxes off tax roll. These, there's 8 parcels totaling $1,545.31 that are outside the statute of limitations, and 5 parcels totaling $203.34 associated with businesses that are no longer operating. Shelby County clears these out quarterly.
Board, do we have any questions? Mr. McGee?
So, Ms. Finley, I believe I know the answer, but are these businesses still actively doing business?
Some of them are.
And are these the ones?
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Some of them are.
Thank you.
Anything else?
My question
Mr.
is,
Smith?
we're talking about $200, right?
No.
Well, that's the ones that are out of business.
1,500 is outside the statute of limitations, we can't get that if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we're talking about $200, right?
Less than 2,000 in total for all of them.
Anything else?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Huffman, we'll start with board reports.
Sure, as the liaison to the planning commission, our next meeting is on Monday evening, the 17th at 6 o'clock here in the chambers. The agenda is available online, but a couple of things folks might be interested in is a sign permit for the 7 Brew Coffee that's opening on Highway 51, as well as a site plan for Panda Express, and based on the address, it appears to be going in the space formerly known as Parties. There's also a couple of minor subdivision plats and other site plans that will be on the agenda, as well as a recommendation for the vendor to conduct our comprehensive plan survey that we need to do every 10 years with our zoning and mapping for the city, which will include a lot of public involvement and public engagement. So they're going to be talking about the vendor to provide those services on Monday evening as well. And Mayor, if I may, Alderman Ford is not here, and Superintendent Griffin asked if I would read the education moment, if I could. So Alderman Ford serves on the Joint Education Committee, and wanted to make sure everyone knows that schools are back in full swing as of today. So thank you to our educators. Lucy Elementary School is now a Millington Municipal School again. Millington Middle School is on schedule, and all plans for the 2027 school year will be made available to stakeholders by December 17th. So stay tuned for that. Fall sports are up and running with football season kicking off August 21st at Fairleigh High School at 7 p.m. And the new Millington Municipal Schools 5-year plan of 2026 through 2031 will be presented at the September Board of Alderman meeting. So that's the second Monday in September. And please check your student's website for any information needed to start the school year, or contact the central office if you have questions. Thank you for letting me know.
Mr. Bell? Mr. Morales?
The library boosters are, asked to attend the prep for, book sale fundraiser. And there's gonna be 3 meetings, from 10 to 4, 13, August, 10 to 4, on the 14th of August, and 10 to 3 on the 15th of August. And, the boosters are meeting tomorrow at the library.
Mickey?
City Beautiful is kicking off Neighborhood Choice for September. You're out of the month, you heard about it earlier. Check your Facebook page, check the Facebook page today, and make recommendations nominating someone in your neighborhood, someone that you have watched work hard in their yard. The winners will be announced at the City Beautiful meeting on September 1st. And we will be participating in the Fall Crafts Fair August 22nd this year. And we're always looking for volunteers, and as many of you as came out today indicates that you love your city. We want to make it beautiful. We want to encourage others to put your trash out on the day that it's going to be picked up, the day before, no earlier than 1600. And if you need a second can, request a second can, because the trash ends up in the gutter and it doesn't make our city beautiful.
I don't have anything for IDB. I do want to remind everybody, I think before we meet again, well, maybe it's I do believe it is before we meet again on the September the 12th, those days. That's a question, and there's that go day.
That's true. Can we request Amy to come up and say something?
Hi, Amy, would you like to tell us
I'm
about
right
your?
here.
Hey y'all,
Thank you.
Amy Collier, Director of Education and Recreation, 7942 Church Street. Yes, thank you. Goat Day is on September the 12th. It's not second Saturday. It is the Saturday after Labor Day. We'll be celebrating with more goats this year. Our recreation manager, Maggie Gamble, as many of you know, has been out on maternity leave, and she is back and at it, and she is planning us an excellent goat day. So it'll be my first goat day, so I'm excited to join in the celebration. Oh yes, September 12th, 10 a.m. Still looking for vendors and sponsors.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Yes, sir, Smith. Okay, great. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Got a motion in a second. Did I?